What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great Thirsty Thursday. Tomorrow's already finally freaking Friday. Man, we have some DeAndre Hopkins news. We have some news on DeAndre Hopkins. Hope everybody's ready for the weekend. I know I am. I am putting in the work to try and get myself ahead of schedule, so that way I am going to take 5 days on a cruise with my wife. And I am going to focus on her and just being happy that I'm a happily married man. And I think it is a well-deserved break after 20 years of being together, through thick and thin, through ups and downs. And I love my wife. So, Saturday, fly out to Miami. Sunday, oh boy, Scarlet Lady, a Virgin Cruise. Anyway, DeAndre Hopkins, and I don't see anything about the tweet at the moment. Supposedly, he put out a cryptic tweet. We're getting some stuff here that's kind of interesting as far as Hopkins. And I said a couple weeks ago that this may be like the Odell Beckham Jr. Sweepstakes, that ended up being more hype than actually bidding going on for him. People thought as soon as he was healthy that all of a sudden, it was going to be the sky's the limit. But it ended up being that the people who were interested, between the Giants, the Cowboys, Buffalo, didn't have that same interest that they did during the season. And it seemed like for a while there, it was like, he said, I'm not looking for 20, but 3 definitely ain't enough. So somebody made him an offer that was a lowball offer. So enter, we've talked about DeAndre Hopkins, for a long time, for months and things. And, you look at a guy of his pedigree, of his career and things, and know that he's on the tail end side of it, but know that he could still help your team. And the question is can he help your team at the right price? And that seems to be the sticking point. Now, he has gotten Clutch Sports agency as an agent. He used to represent himself, but now he's like, I want to get the money, because he knows that this might be the last big contract he gets. We had heard that the Browns might be interested in him because, they need some help at wide receiver. Their coach, Kevin Stefanski, said, I like our receiving room. That's what he said, which all of a sudden was like, okay, he's not interested. Then we heard about the Bills, who had made calls to them about trading for him and probably offered him like a 7th round or 6th round pick or something like that, and wanted the Cardinals to take part of that contract. And probably in retrospect, I bet the Cardinals are thinking, maybe we should have done that. Maybe we could have at least reduced some of the money that was there. It's kind of like the Texans last year with Brandon Cooks. The Cowboys allegedly offered a 2nd round pick for him, and they wanted him to take the whole contract, in which case they didn't. They ended up settling for a 5th and still eating part of the contract. So sometimes a bird in the hand beats 2 in the bush, because when you try and get the ones in the bush, they fly off and you end up with nothing. So Mike McCarthy was asked, Mike, do you have any interest in DeAndre Hopkins? His response sounds kind of familiar. I really like the look of our group. Added, Hopkins is a hell of a talent whom he has long respected, but he sees no good in discussing players not currently in the building. So, I like our room. And that's what the Browns said. And weren't interested. But Mike McCarthy does kind of leave the door a little bit open by saying, I'm not going to talk about players that aren't here on our roster. I'm trying to remember when everybody was wooing Odell Beckham Jr. Remember that? And maybe the teams learned from that, because it was like everybody was like, oh, Odell, come to the Cowboys. Odell, we love you, you know. And Odell is hanging out and going to basketball games with the Cowboys and everything else, right? You remember that, right? We don't have anybody doing that on the current Cowboys roster trying to woo DeAndre Hopkins. You notice that? Yeah. Do you notice that? Hold on, I'll be right back. Sorry, my beautiful bride calling through to say good night, because it is 10:40 at night, and I want to get up early because I need to get on the road. I said, oh, I'll be leaving in the morning. She's thinking it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. To me, morning is 11:59. You know, it's addictive working on the red brick house. I don't know if I've got like the spirits in me that are saying, finish the house, finish the house. It might be, because it's like every time I think I'm like, okay, I'm going to finish this and then I'm done. And then it's like I go on to something else. Like, didn't you say, okay, I'll just finish this. And it just keeps going on and on. And before I know it, it's been like, 10, 12 hours that we've been working there. I'm averaging like 14,000 steps a day. 14,000 steps a day. And I think I've lost like 27 pounds. So I don't know. If the place is haunted, it's been good for my health. That's all I got to say. That if there's a ghost there that's possess me some longer. Because a brother like to see 240. I ain't seen 240 in forever. A brother would love to see 240. So yeah, that's just 12 more pounds. Anyway, I digress. I don't see anybody on the Cowboys trying to woo, other than Des Bryant, trying to woo DeAndre Hopkins like we did Odell Beckham Jr. Maybe they've learned that, you know what, let's not do all that, because, we just get used by people, which is true. You do know that, right? Earl Thomas, come get me, come get me. And then he had the chance to come here, and it was like, oh, I'm going to go to Baltimore because they showing me the money. I thought she just wanted to get out of Seattle and play with the Cowboys. Yeah. So if you want publicity, let people to know that you are wanting to get a new deal, you mentioned the Cowboys. So another report, Hopkins is interested in signing with the Texans, but currently gauging multiple teams. See, if he goes back to the Texans as bad as they are, wow, that's really slumming. Originally his list of teams were all teams that were top tier teams. Now it's kind of like, okay, they're not interested. So now let's see who is interested. Anyway, let me say, I'm going to ready to get out of here. I'm feeling a little melancholy. I think that's the right term. And I know it bothers some people when I talk about the red brick house here, but the spirit's inside of me. Spirit's inside of me and taking control over it. So bear with me. I've talked about the Cowboys, so now I'll talk about the red brick house. I am going to say that not only have I lost weight working on the red brick house, which is great. That's by itself great. Dropping 25, 27 pounds. They say every step you take, multiply by 3. So for every pound you lose, you're taking 3 pounds off every step. So me losing 27, I got to see how much when I get home. For all I know, it might be 29. I had a goal actually to hit 250 before we went on the cruise, which would have been 28 pounds. I was about 2 pounds away before I came down here. But be that as it may, the world is crazy. Everybody is at each other's throat. You know, you've got the Karens out there that are literally just, in people's faces that, doing things. You have political sides that, this one said that one and that one said this one and so on. And people, getting gunned down everywhere. And instead of having a conversation with people basically have the mentality of, if you're not agreeing with what I say, then you're the enemy and F you. It has been so good to have this house and have people roll up, stop, roll their window down and say, hello, you guys are doing a great job. This place has needed it for so long, and thank you. It's been so long since you've actually had people interacting like that you don't know. It takes me back to when I grew up. That's the way people used to interact with each other. And I say it's refreshing, but it shouldn't be refreshing. It should be the norm. And I wish that I could bottle up. I wish I could bottle up what's happening with the people there in the house and me and everything else. When we're done with this house, I've already talked to my man Jet. Jet's got a, it's the oil drum smoker, big 500-gallon smoker. And we're going to, when we're done with this house and get our final inspections and stuff, I'm hoping that we'll be able to do it for the 4th of July. We're going to buy all kinds of meat for that smoker, get that smoker out there. I'm going to get my deep fryer down here and, maybe 100 pounds of chicken wings. And we're going to have an open house. And we're going to welcome all these people that have come through that want to see the house, that are happy about the house, that were tied to the house. Get to know my neighbors. Get to know the people in town, because this feeling, this niceness that is going on is a beautiful thing. And I hope that it can become contagious. They say, think globally, but act locally. This is how I'm going to act locally. And so, with that being said, let me say, thank you guys. And remember to tell the people you love them. Life is too precious and too short. And I love you guys. And God willing, I'll be here tomorrow to say the same thing. Have a good night. Peace.